We begin here at 11 with breaking news. There is new fallout amid the release of the Epstein Files. The top lawyer at Goldman Sachs, Kathy Remler, is stepping down after emails showed that she had a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Announcing DP World has appointed a new chairman. DP World is the world's largest port operator. It did not cite the Epstein Files as the reason for the change in leadership. But outgoing chair Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem did appear in the documents.
Okay, so while companies are parting ways with high-ranking members tied to the Epstein Files, Pam Bondi wants you to know how well the stock market is doing. Am I getting that right?
Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over 50,000.
She was asked a tough question. She discussed the Dow and how high the stock market was doing. It's shameful. And the other thing I saw in photos, I'm not on Judiciary, so I wasn't in the hearing, but in the Judiciary Committee, she had her folder open, and you saw an image of a search history of a member of Congress in the software, in the database. Why is the DOJ, why is the Attorney General carrying around a folder of the search histories of members of Congress who only simply want the truth? And she should answer for that. And I think she should come before the Oversight Committee because I have a lot of tough questions for her.
Yeah, it seems that while other countries, say the UK, and companies worldwide are taking action in the wake of the very serious nature of any high-ranking official or CEOs or board members connected with the Epstein Files, on American soil, the mere question of, why the president is mentioned so many times has the Attorney General in the United States launch into profanity-laced hyperbole. And it's even too much for the likes of Fox News to stomach.
I think the yelling, to me, Kennedy, I always find it so unpersuasive for everybody.
Yeah, so Scott Bessent went before Congress and was very calm, was very measured, and he has become the king of laconic sick burns. Like, he can absolutely destroy you, and it won't raise his heart rate or his blood pressure. And that is a lesson that Pam Bondi needs to internalize, because it's different. She comes off like a shrieking Karen. It's like, I want this country to do well. I want to be convinced that the president, I don't care what administration it is, that we're on the right track. And the people who are in charge of every aspect of the federal government, they have their position locked up and they're doing the very best they can with an incredibly talented team. When she's this emotional, it looks like she's lost a little bit of the edge, and she seems very, very unpersuasive. It feels like the job is consuming her. She needs to tone it down a little bit. And, she apparently had a burn book of insults that she was doling out to everyone. And when she said to Jamie Raskin, who was a total hack, when she said, you're not even a lawyer, he should have said, you're not even a real blonde. That would have been funny. But he doesn't have the wherewithal. He shouldn't be in Congress.
That's why he's never in Gutfeld.
Scott Bessent might have been able to deliver.
Across politics, finance, and the corporate world, the Epstein Files are no longer just news, right? They are causing consequences. Now, not anywhere near enough, as everyone will agree. A top lawyer at one of Wall Street's most powerful firms just resigned after revelations that she maintained a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, even after he was a convicted sex criminal. And she's not the only one, by the way. There are many who maintained that relationship. But Goldman Sachs Chief Legal Officer Kathy Remler, a former White House counsel under President Obama, oh my God, are we demanding that she be held to account and she's also a Democrat? Who cares? Hold them all to account. Well, she is one of the most powerful lawyers on Wall Street, and she announced her resignation after documents showed that she accepted gifts from Epstein and basically stayed in frequent contact with the man long after his 2008 conviction.
On Jeffrey Epstein's 62nd birthday, he got an email from former Obama White House counsel Kathy Remler. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy the day with your one true love, adding a smiley face. Epstein responded, they say that men usually gave a name to their penis, as it would be inappropriate to make love to a total stranger. Remler replied, hard to believe that there is still an open question about whether men are the inferior gender. This is one of just a few of the hundreds of emails that Remler exchanged with Epstein during the final years of his life. Now the chief legal officer at Goldman Sachs, Rumler has said that she got to know Epstein through her work as a lawyer and that the two were, quote, friendly in that professional context. But in the latest release of Epstein Files from the Justice Department, photos of Rumler and messages between the two suggest they had a close personal friendship. Rumler discussed matters in her personal life, expressed gratitude for their, quote, friendship, sometimes concluded messages with, quote, XO and XOXO, and repeatedly fawned over gifts from who she called at times Uncle Jeffrey. Rumler even discussed possibly visiting Epstein's private island, asking in 2017 if she could take a, quote, day trip there, with emails suggesting Epstein tried to coordinate a private jet to pick her up.
Emails released in the Department of Justice recent file dump showed that friendly exchanges and references to Epstein as, quote, Uncle Jeffrey that went well beyond a casual acquaintance, even advising him on media strategy during his sex crime crisis. Well, as a result, there were calls for her resignation. And it's not just Goldman Sachs, right? Documents show figures ranging from royalty to diplomats to former government officials appearing in Epstein's files, and several have experienced career setbacks, resignations, or intensified scrutiny as a result. Now, I will reiterate that it's not prosecutions, but it shows that proximity to Epstein carries consequences, right? Yet, all this despite the fact that the Department of Justice overseeing the rollout of millions of pages of Epstein files, they continue to botch the release and get so defensive to the point that in some cases they are unveiling victims' names and redacting potential accomplices.
Well, I think it's completely contingent on this administration. I mean, they have been the ones that have called it a hoax. They have been the ones that have not had any sort of admiration for the survivors and the kind of bravery that it's taken for them to come forward. And you had Pam Bondi giving one of the most despicable performances 2 days ago in front of that House committee, and not even acknowledging the survivors that were standing behind her. That photo is going to go down in infamy with her back to them.
And as a result, it sparked a bipartisan call for accountability that is bound to ruffle Trump's feathers, considering the fact that he continues to claim that all of this is just some Democratic hoax and that the American people need to move on. And his Attorney General, well, she thinks it's appropriate to talk about the Dow and 401ks while survivors are literally behind her, demanding transparency and justice.
I mean, we've seen it from this administration a lot, even from the top, when we think about when the Transparency Act was passed with Donald Trump going on that rant on Truth Social. It's sort of the same in that there are real moments of missed opportunity here when it comes to empathy. Empathy for not just the people that stand there, but for survivors as a whole. And it was just one more, actually 3 more, because there were 3 times that she could have turned around in that room. 3 times that she could have turned around and just looked us in the eye for one moment and just, she didn't even have to say anything. Just the sheer acknowledgement that we were human would have been enough, and she couldn't even do that.
Did you even feel seen by the Attorney General?
No, not at all. In fact, I think she did everything in her power to not see us. If a staffer would come by, she would lean her head back to talk to them because she knew that we were sitting to her right? So she would never look over the shoulder, or if she started to glance in that direction and all of us sort of like moved in on her, she would move her back, So did everything actually to just remind us that we are nothing to her.
Representative Ted Lieu of California even accused Pam Bondi of lying under oath after she said there was no credible evidence tying Trump to any wrongdoing, despite the fact that, there were multiple references to Trump allegedly committing crimes in the release of files and even an FBI report that was filed.
Former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm going to claim my time. I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock. Stop the clock.
The legislation. This is
time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay.
I mean,
Sir.
you can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay.
But it all poses a question, right? When companies are taking action and resignations are being handed, why is this country's Department of Justice not even meeting with victims or asking questions, but instead just running cover talking about the president's alleged accomplishments during a hearing? It's frankly shocking, right? Polls show that Americans are increasingly dissatisfied with how much of the Epstein files the government has released, and the majority believe that information is being withheld intentionally. When people perceive a two-tiered justice system is going on, one where some elites lose status over documented associations with a convicted predator while others ride free, then faith in that very institution erodes and in those handling the files.
New Meidas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.